Um, Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us. I am Letitia Caligari, Director of Academic Outreach and Professional Development at the PMI Sydney Chapter, and I'm absolutely delighted to be facilitating tonight's session, Careers in a Shifting Market, Project Management Opportunities and Trend Across Australia. So before we dive into this session, I'd like to I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodian of country throughout Australia and recognize their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture. We pay our respects to elders past, present, and emerging. A bit of housekeeping to help us get the most of tonight's session. So please keep your microphone muted unless you're speaking, so that we can minimize background noise and keep things running smoothly for everyone. We welcome your questions and we hope to have time set aside for Q&A later in the session. If we do run short on time, you can send your question to Ask the Recruiter. It's on the bottom there on the slide. Ask the Recruiter at pmisydney.org and we'll make sure they are all addressed. Our goal is to make this session as valuable as possible, so please don't hold back. A bit of agenda for today. This is a compact 1-hour session designed to deliver a lot of insight for maximum value. So it will be running till about 7:55 and we'll be closing at 8 p.m. About this session. So we are living through an exciting yet unpredictable moment in the job market, with AI reshaping roles, new industries emerging, and global talent mobility accelerating. Project professionals and students everywhere are asking the same question: what's next? So tonight we brought together a fantastic panel of recruiters and industry leaders to help us explore that very question. And together, we'll get you through the latest hiring trends in Australia, the market predictions, including the impact of AI, how you can maximize your online brand, and what clients are really looking for from their project delivery partners. And to give us this insight, we'll be hearing from 3 different perspectives. The first part, a recruiter's view on where the jobs are and the skills to build. The second part, a platform view from LinkedIn on how to position yourself effectively. And finally, a client's perspective on what organizations truly expect. So our goal is to equip you with practical insight that you can take away and apply, whether you're building your career or looking to stand out in a crowded market or simply curious about what the future holds. So with that in mind, let's dive straight in. And meet our speakers. We've got a fantastic panel. We've got 3 speakers from Talent International. Um, we've got Steve Tompkins. He's the head of government for Talent International. Hi, Steve. Welcome. He's responsible for managing the New South Wales government team, which includes tertiary education. And then we've got Magella Sanders. Hi, Magella. Welcome. Majula is an account director. She looks after all permanent and fixed-term contract requirements for the university clients she supports here in New South Wales. And Patrick, hi Patrick, is also an account director. He's responsible for building and maintaining relationships with state and federal government organizations. And then we've got James. Hi James from LinkedIn. He's the regional account director, delivering innovative solutions to global staffing companies across Asia Pacific. And last, Michael Megali is the sales director of AVEC, a leading project delivery company that provides a refreshing, no nonsense human approach to IT project delivery that is precise, simple, and smart. So, with no further ado, let's welcome our speakers and kick off the session. I'm going to give control to Michael, Magella, and Steve and Patrick. There you go. Over to you guys.
Ooh. Evening all. So as you can imagine, I get asked this question an awful lot at the moment, probably for the last 18, 24 months. What's the current state of the market? Look, it varies significantly depending on who you're talking to. What I wanted to bring up here and just show some information is you can see unemployment in Australia currently sitting around 4.1%, which is deemed a low figure, but for every project manager that's been applying for a job at the moment, I think you can all agree it doesn't feel like it. Now, what's sort of skewing this figure is a lot of this low unemployment is driven by non-market sector, which what is classed as government funded roles, such as frontline services, nursing, social workers, healthcare, primarily through the big NDIA boom that the federal government's having. When you can see the blue line underneath, the market is kind of tracking very flat, and has been probably, yeah, for the last sort of 18 months or so. So the government are pushing low unemployment figures. However, for us in the project management sector, ICT sector, it has been very tough. Next one I wanted to tack through is a lot of people, obviously, when they're talking about rates, especially in the contracting space, I hear a lot. Look, where's the rates at? My rate's been flat since, 2020, whatever it is. You can see here that the rates are very stagnant. In round about 2020, when, COVID hit, there was a bit of a collapse in the market. That quickly sprung back in 2021. But then you can see rates have tailed off 24, and they've been literally flat since. So there hasn't really been much wage growth in the and this is based on Seek advertised salary, but you can see it's kind of tracking around sort of 3.5%. So it's not brilliant. But the good news is, what I wanted to do is just bring up this graph. So while employers at the moment are not having an issue finding the lowest skilled workers, you can see in 2022 it was a real struggle for employers to find candidates across all various skills. But if you look towards, there is a real sort of tick up at the higher skills. So project managers, engineers, cyber guys, AI, they are now back to sort of that sort of almost sort of COVID peak, hitting that. It is quite tough for people to find talented, experienced people. So a little bit of silver lining there for the market. But yeah, look, you can see over the last couple of years, the slope towards employers being able to find people. They have found, since COVID's kicked in, they have found it easier. But fingers crossed that seems to be turning. I just wanted to run through next some of the overviews of what I've got here for some of the key states with the talent work for. So the first one up is Canberra. Canberra have got a big contracting squeeze from federal. So a lot of our work is through the federal government in the Canberra office. Labor have had a particular sort of key criteria to reduce labour hire. You can see it's been in the news. They're sort of really squeezing now the contracting space, turning a lot of roles into fixed term and non-ongoing. So it is harder to fund new projects. So it adds pressure onto suppliers and candidates. What we are seeing in the Canberra market is a real uptick in AI capability. So there's a lot of agencies that are running proof of concepts in generative AI and automation. So candidates that have got strong AI skills, data and cybersecurity, they seem to be in high demand. In the Melbourne office, again, seems to be AI. So a lot of chatbots, AI-driven recruitment, standard tools for entry level hire. So, roles like compliance, AI compliance analyst and AI lead, we're now starting to see a lot more of. Also in the Melbourne office, they're seeing a push for the green tech. So there's a lot around the Power Melbourne, which is a big incentive that Melbourne have got. They're trying to power. The idea is to power 100% of Melbourne renewable energy by 2030. So they've got some big goals to kick out. So that's there's big drive there. On to New South Wales. I'll touch on this a little bit later, but applications for generally all ICT roles across the board have been historically high. We are noticing particularly a big push in cybersecurity. So I don't know, I'm sure you've all seen, people like Qantas, Telstra, probably over the last 9-12 months had some significant data breaches, and that's been all over the press. So we're seeing clients that are focusing now on putting a lot of money into cybersecurity. And also we've noticed, especially in New South Wales in COVID, there's a lot of people that have kind of tried to get out of Sydney as a CBD and sort of moved up for a bit of a sea change. A lot of people in Central Coast, North Coast, and what that's doing now is what we're finding is employers are trying to entice people back into the office, and that's becoming a bit of a sticky point for a lot of people that have sort of relocated up to the coast and really looking for sort of 1 or 2 days. So there's a bit of a fight between those people that kind of wanting more flexibility, and then employers, especially in the job short market, are now trying to use that leverage to get people back into the office. In our Adelaide office, South Australia, there is a lot, again, AI. So AI seems to be a bit of a running theme. They've got a large defense project, which has just been, they've had the nuclear submarines just got signed off. And that is being picked up, I understand, by Rolls-Royce. That's been touted as well, they're calling it a once in a generation opportunity for South Australia. So I think it's something like 100 billion that they're, 100 million that they're powering into the nuclear submarines. So defense a key for South Australia. On the national job trends, I wanted to touch on, if you can see, so what we've got here is adverts since about 2022 have been primarily flat, but the last couple of months we're just starting to see a bit of an uptake. So that's showing that there's a little bit of an uplift in the market. They jumped up 0.3% month on month in July. So you can see there is a little bit of green shoots of recovery, and applications per job fell for the first time in over 2 years, but they are still higher than historically it has been. You can see across the state there, primarily, look, year on year, job ads are down as a whole, but month on month, as you see, there's a few pockets of activity there. New South Wales, Western Australia, it just kind of starting to turn. So fingers crossed. What I've got here on this last slide is an inverted graph where you can see a trend between job ads that are live on Seek and the amount of applications per job ad. So you can see in COVID in around 2020, job ads really dropped and applications really went through the roof. That's then inverted, but again, you can see jobs now, they've declined significantly since 22, and applications are say 200 per job. So for those people that are finding that they're struggling to hear back on applications, this is part of the reason, the volume, the noise. It's unfortunately there's a lot to get through, but you can see there that job ads are holding. It looks like the slide is stopping. So fingers crossed, we're all starting to see a bit of a curve here and some good news ahead. Pass this on now to Steve for the market trends.
Yeah, no, that's me. Thank you, Patrick. Um, yeah, good evening, everyone. My name is Magella, and I'm going to discuss what PM skills are in demand, trends affecting rates, and how PMs can best position themselves in more competitive, value-driven landscapes. Over the past 2 years, mentioned project delivery has slowed. This was impacted by economic uncertainty, shifting priorities, and stalled large-scale programs. Many organisations paused hiring and tightened their budgets. However, as Patty mentioned, we're starting to see some green shoots of recovery, particularly in transformation, infrastructure, and digital programs. This bounce back is driven largely by post-COVID economic rebuilding, a renewed digital focus, and long-term national priorities. Despite the shift, the market is still competitive, particularly for professionals looking to shift lanes. With more candidates in circulation, clients are being highly selective. There is a preference for individuals who bring deep domain knowledge, relevant technical experience, and a history of delivering in comparable environments. So PMs without direct sector experience are finding it harder to break into new industries. This is less about capability and more about perceived risk, I think. The role of the PM is evolving. In addition to managing time, scope, and budget, today's PMs are expected to drive transformation, influence stakeholders, and lead through ambiguity. Clients are looking for change makers who can bring vision, clarity, and adaptability to the table. Technology is now central to delivery. AI and automation are reshaping risk management, resource planning, and reporting. Cloud tools have become essential, and agile, lean, and hybrid methods continue to dominate. The key is digital fluency, being able to lead digital-first teams and make data-informed decisions. The mix of skills needed has shifted. Employers want more than technical ability. They want well-rounded leaders with strategic thinking and leadership skills, adaptability and emotional intelligence, clear, confident communication, especially across hybrid or dispersed teams, cross-functional collaboration, a clear commitment to continuous learning and upskilling, particularly in technology, cybersecurity and governance awareness. Also, it's a real blend of technical know-how and interpersonal capability that defines today's high-performing PMs. Sustainability, DE&I are no longer nice to haves, they're expected. PMs now embed sustainable practices into project design and delivery. They lead environmentally responsible initiatives and consider social and cultural outcomes. Inclusive leadership is essential. This includes accessibility, regional equity, and First Nations engagement, particularly in public sector work. Today's PMs are on the front line of shaping inclusive and sustainable outcomes. Not all sectors are growing equally. Right now, we're seeing strong demand in government infrastructure, especially with the Brisbane Olympics in 2032, regional development across health, education, and essential services, construction across residential, civic, and commercial, digital and AI-led programs, energy transition across renewables, decarbonisation, and grid upgrades. In short, the PM landscape is evolving fast. The market is recovering, but it's more selective, more complex, and more value-driven. Project management today isn't just about delivery, it's about impact. It's about being the kind of leader that clients trust to shape the future, not just manage in the present. Moving on to rates, these vary significantly by experience level, sector, and geography. Understanding your position in the market will help you negotiate with confidence. Entry-level PMs are sitting sort of at that $600 to $900 a day. Whilst modest, these roles offer excellent foundations to build experience and accelerate progression. Mid-level PMs are sitting between $850 to $1,200, often with niche domain expertise required. Senior PMs and program managers are sitting anywhere from $1,100 to $1,600 a day or more. These PMs can deliver at scale, especially in regulated sectors or defence, where clearance and risk mitigation carry a premium. Location plays a major role in rate variation. Canberra leads nationally, thanks to strong demand for cleared PMs in federal and defence projects. These roles offer both high rates and long-term potential. Sydney and Melbourne remain major markets, especially across tech and infrastructure. Rates have stabilised but remain strong for niche expertise. Brisbane is a growth hotspot driven by public sector investment and 2032 infrastructure. Perth offers steady opportunities, especially in mining, energy and infrastructure. Rates are strong but slightly below the eastern states. Adelaide, Darwin and Hobart, whilst they are smaller markets and offer fewer roles, there is less competition. These are great locations to build public sector experience. Let's look at a couple of trends shaping rates at the moment. Rates have flattened in Sydney and Melbourne post-COVID spike, and growth is now tied to niche expertise, not generalist skills. As mentioned, rates are rising in Canberra and Brisbane, and clearance and domain expertise are driving rates higher in Canberra. In Brisbane, public sector and infrastructure activity is pushing up the mid to senior rate ranges. If you've got clearance and relevant domain experience and you're flexible on location, then these markets offer really strong potential. In terms of support roles, project schedulers, coordinators and analysts are seeing 10 to 15% increases, particularly in Canberra, Brisbane and Perth. These roles are now critical enablers of delivery, not just support functions. If you're early in your career and repositioning, these roles offer a strong, well-compensated pathway into the PM profession. Some of the drivers for rates in 2025 are experience managing complex, high-risk projects and programs. Specialisation is key, particularly ERP, cyber, cloud and data governance programs. Security clearances, especially in government and defence, will see you get higher rates. Experience in enterprise, federated, hybrid or multi-stakeholder environments as well. In closing, the current PM market is diverse and dynamic, and it's critical to understand how your skills, location and sector impact value. Whether you're just starting, consolidating or leading at scale, having a clear career strategy and skills investment will position you for success. This is a great time to assess your strengths, identify high value areas and position yourself for the next step. This current market is really rewarding clarity, credibility and specialisation. Thank you. I'll pass on to Steve now. He's going to talk.
Thanks, Vijala. Talk about the AI piece, which is really on topic at the moment. It's really quite interesting. I get asked a lot, is it going to replace us? Is it going to replace project management? The good news is the short answer is no. Is it going to augment what we do? Is it going to help us do things quicker, more efficiently? Probably yes. It's just not there yet. It's not going to replace project management. The best analogy I've heard is think of it like a co-pilot, right? They're not going to fly the whole plane. There's some things that will be able to do well, some things it won't. So in terms of profession, I think if you're an influencer, you might be in trouble. I think PMs, with what we do, it's one of the safer professions, to be perfectly honest. So that said, where should I get experience in AI? Why should I get experience? You still, because it is on topic, you don't want to be a PM that goes into an interview and because it is a tight market at the moment, fall out on the question, how do you currently use AI, or have you used AI in a past position to actually augment what you do, just to talk about it. So we'll unpack that a bit now as well. So where to get experience? You can get this on online courses. There's so many out there. You can certainly, I learn how to prompt as well. If you can get a good course unpacking prompt engineering, you're halfway there, asking, which right questions to actually ask. I'd connect with AI professionals on LinkedIn. I'd ask questions about AI and share insights into what you're doing with AI on LinkedIn. All of this supports your brand, and I'm sure James is going to share a bit more about that later. I'd certainly stay ahead of the trends as well and set up new news alerts and things like that. And there's even a course now by the PMI, AI and project management. So I certainly think there's some value in that as well. So where do we see the value? actually in your core job in terms of project management delivery. The first is definitely costing. I think that's where it can help. One thing it can do really well time and time again is make sense of huge data sets, right? So this is why for projects and costing, it's certainly going to help increase accuracy. You're going to get better forecasting. It can take into account probably more variables than we can cope with in our human brains. And it can certainly keep learning within that closed organization as well. So I think that's where, project costing, it's really going to be of benefit. The next is resource allocation, or resource management. It can review historical project data probably quicker and more efficiently. It can certainly do that within the organization before you even got there. PMs still need to make a call on this, but it's certainly better at things like conflict detection. And it can be really good for scenario simulation as well. So I think there's a lot of value there in terms of our project management community. Same goes with scheduling. In terms of task prioritization, it can really analyze task importance and really get a faster grip on project interdependencies as well. Again, this is all to improve the decision-making of the project manager, and that's the key takeaway from that part, is the project manager still has to make the decisions on this stuff, right? In terms of collaboration as well, tools like Miro or Taskade, it certainly improves communication. It can answer team queries on large projects quite quickly as well. It can automate project updates as well for either some of your stakeholders or some of the team or some of the interdependent factors that are moving in the project. Can certainly summarize discussions. I think everyone's quite comfortable with AI now summarizing discussions and team meetings and things like that. I've just picked those two because they're getting good feedback in the community at the moment. I'm not endorsed by them in any way. What have we got next? In terms of reporting, certainly improvements around speed, around accuracy, around complexity. And then next we have workflows, project workflows. I think that incorporates a lot of what we've talked about and brings all that together. It incorporates predictive analytics, optimal resource allocation. It improves decision making. You can get real-time reporting from it. All of that comes into play here, and all are going to help support the project community and the PM to get better outcomes as well. But it's not going to replace PMs entirely, and these are the reasons why. In terms of holding on to your value, so it's not going to replace your judgment. There's a gut feel involved in terms of project management. It's not going to replace that years of experience, right? It's not going to replace your ability to actually make decisions and have a team back you as well. AI is great at summarizing data and making sense of large data sets. Sometimes as a PM, we've probably all been there, where you have to make a decision when you don't have all the data based on that gut feel and based on past experiences and things like that. It's not going to be able to make that call. Certainly your ability to view and put things into context as well. This has a massive impact on decision making and making the right decision. AI is certainly not there yet. Definitely can't influence people. How to drive outcomes with those you don't have direct authority over. How to get your stuff done first. If you combine that with some of the others, hang on, like stakeholder management, who's going to let AI manage their stakeholder, right? I think you'll start seeing that AI can add value, but it's not quite there in terms of replacing. It's not driving, this increase in unemployment as well. Combine it with seeing when, like a PM, when they see a quiet stakeholder, they're actually the one that's going to derail your project, right? It can't do that. Coaching a key team member who's on the edge of burnout, it's not going to be able to do that. The ability to read people, display higher levels of emotional intelligence, it's not going to be able to do that. So in terms of, I think we're going to see the term shift from project manager to actually project leader. And that, I think, echoing what Magella's sort of sentiments were about the current market, that's really where we're going to see project management sort of move to and start considering ourselves project leaders. And it's all, in short, it's all about your leadership. going forward. And like we said, your ability to read people and things. So it would be remiss of me not to talk about AI in your job search as well. We get phone calls probably once, maybe twice a month, just about new whiz, faster, better, stronger tech in AI that's really going to help break recruitment and do recruitment and stuff. It's just not there yet. It really isn't. So talking about AI as a recruiter, yeah, I think it's important to know when to use it in your job search and when not to use it as well. So certainly when you go to an interview, have specific examples about where you've used AI. Use that template. I used it for costing in this particular project, and I found it to be save me time, and the client was very happy. So use that STAR acronym that most of us don't know. If we don't know it, just flick me a line, and I can certainly talk you through it. But it's tried, tested. Yeah, but certainly have one AI example in your arsenal when you're going to interview. Know its limits as well. Its limits. It's good at some stuff, it's bad at others. So maybe it's good at a brief cover letter. Please, please, please don't use it to write your resume. It sticks out like a sore thumb. And that's not even AI to check it. We can actually see when the similarities in the resumes when they're coming through and when they've been done by AI as well. So again, double check on what it produces as well. By all means, use it. Just don't rely on it. The big bugbear I have at the moment is please don't use it to post content. There's so much of it out there at the moment. And I think it's really started to miss the mark in terms of your personal brand. It really sort of starting to stand out as non-human, for want of a better word. So if you are going to post something out there, post content, please make it personal. And you can really start seeing, you'll probably get a lens on it over the next couple of weeks. Now you've sort of got a lens on it. But yeah, you can start seeing that perhaps AI spat out sort of quite quick posts and things rather than the actual really personal stories and the actual human content as well. And I think that's a really important differentiator around your brand and going forward. So that's probably an example of standing out for the wrong reasons. But what I'm going to do next is pass you on to James from LinkedIn. He's going to share with us as part of his presentation how to stand out for the right reasons. Over to you, James.
Thanks, Steve. That was a great segue. And I will click through here. For those of you I've not seen before or met, I'm James, based in Sydney here at LinkedIn, and been with the organisation about 6 years. And I think, Steve, this is the 4th PMI sort of session I've run with you. And over the years, I think what's ringing true is just that personal element. Like, yes, tech's here, tech's an enabler, but actually the human connection, that human interaction is not going to go anywhere. And it's how we use tech to, I guess, maximize our exposure on LinkedIn as a platform. Obviously, speakers before me, Steve, Magilla, and Patrick, have done a good job about the state of the market right now, and how competitive it is and how do we stand out. So I'm hopeful for the next, I'll go quickly because I want to make sure I respect Michael's time, but the next 10 minutes or so, sharing some new content with you, sharing some new insights on the platform. I know there'll be a recording, but I'm also happy for these slides to be shared. So just listen in, and don't worry too much about taking notes or screenshots of the slides. The vision of LinkedIn, just as a quick sort of scene set, is creating economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. And I think running sessions like this is where we see it really play out, you know, opening new connections, opening new ideas and pathways for people to explore. As the previous speakers have just touched on, it is a tight market, it's a tough market. How do we put ourselves out there in the best way? And how do we cut through the noise? How do we cut through the AI? And how do we, you know, help start building that personal brand? And for many of us, maybe it's not something we're comfortable doing, and it's just a case of, okay, taking those first few steps. And again, hopefully some tips I'll share, you'll be able to take away and give your profile. If you haven't got one, build one. If you have got one, give you some pointers to stand out. In the 6 years I've been at LinkedIn, we've pretty much doubled our member base. We're now 1.2 billion members globally. Australia with 16 million members. New Zealand, sorry, 3 million members. And I just looked earlier before this call. I'm not saying these are all project managers, but I looked at the project management skill set on LinkedIn. And that skill set, or that talent pool, if you like, has grown about 8% in the last year. So more project managers are joining the platform. Again, how do we stand out? How do we put ourselves out there in the best light? And how do we start unlocking new conversations, building those networks, and making ourselves stand out versus the AI posts? And so what we're going to talk about is that personal brand, and in particular for LinkedIn, the content you post, any maybe articles you share, who you're interacting with, groups you're joining. And as I say, just some pointers on best practice for posting content, but also building out your profile so you stand out for recruiters. You know, Steve, Magello, and Patrick, I'm pretty sure LinkedIn is one of the places they go to when they're looking for new talent. I'm not saying it's the only one, but how do we cut through the noise? Like, how are we putting our skills out there to showcase what we can do in the best way? And it's all about you, your profile, and telling your story. And so again, hopefully you've all got one, but on there, making sure we've got a profile photo that's up to date. We actually got that profile picture up there because again, when you're going to meet people, that face-to-face isn't going to go anywhere, but you want to show yourselves in the best way. You want to show up and be visible on the platform. And also there's a note here in your settings. I would open that profile picture up so people can see you. Because again, when we're doing those searches, you want to put a face to a name, and you can see some of the stats there in terms of what exposure that also gives you on the platform. The other thing, and I think this is a really good DE&I enhancement on the platform from a recording your name point of view. Again, we've probably all joined meetings. We're not quite sure how to pronounce people's names. You can actually now record your name on the platform itself. People can hear it. Again, LinkedIn will be one of the places I'm sure you'll go to research when you're going to meet new customers, when maybe you're going for interviews, and it just helps build that first connection. You already know how to pronounce names. It's super, super personal. And again, you won't be afraid of making any mistakes. The other one that we're seeing again from that DE&I lens is the pronouns piece. So again, showing up on the platform as your authentic self. And actually, when we interview hiring managers, it's really important for them. It shows respects. It also shows how we should address people. And again, from that DE&I lens, showing up as our true self. The other one, and this could be really beneficial when we start thinking about, okay, how do we stand out? How do we make that great first impression? You can now also put a profile video up, introduce yourself, give a bit of a background of you, what you're looking for, what your goals are, your story to date. And then also you can see who's viewing it. Anything on LinkedIn, there'll be a data set behind it. We're getting about 5 million updates on the platform every minute. And it's all this sort of insights and data you can take to your interviews, researching companies and things like that. The other one, and again, just to build on what Steve was saying on the AI piece, it's not going to take over, but if we're not super creative, we're not quite sure what to put on things like LinkedIn to sell ourselves, we're not probably always the best at talking about our achievements and talking ourselves up. Use our AI, lean into it, and help getting some pointers. Obviously, you will know the industries you want to focus on, but when it comes to what you're looking for, you can also use AI there. I'm just going to pause on this number 6 here because I often get questions around this. And there's a number of ways you can show you're open to work on the platform. There is the green banner, and that's purely a personal choice. If you don't want to put that up, you can just turn on open to work, and it will allow and enable recruiters to find you on the platform. And also a tip on this, when you turn it on, it stays on your profile for 90 days. You then have the option to continue with it, or you can toggle it off and toggle it back on again. Now, if I put myself in a recruiter's seat, they will be notified when people have that open to work banner on, but also they're notified in those first 2 weeks that you're recently open to work. So if you find you've had it on for 30 days and you're not finding too many messages or people researching and reaching out to you, turn it off and turn it back on again, because it will show to people that you're recently open to work, and will hopefully focus and filter into those recruiter searches to show that you're active and on the market. This is where I'm talking about the AI in terms of those creativity, what we want to sell ourselves on, how do we get really specific about what we're looking for, and also what we've achieved and what we're looking to achieve in our career next step. And again, if we're writers or we're using content that we want to share on the platform, you can feature it on your profile. You can rotate that as well. And we also see images and videos perform really, really well here, where you can get to really know someone in terms of what they're posting and putting up on the platform, particularly as it comes to projects or big achievements you've had. Again, I wouldn't be sharing anything commercially sensitive, but you'll know what you want to showcase on the platform to put yourselves in the best light. Again, have we built out our work experience? Are we showing the right things? Are we using those keywords that recruiters will search on in terms of those upcoming skills? Again, Magella mentioned some of those in-demand skills at the moment. Do we have them showcased on our profile? Is today or tomorrow a chance to go back and look through what's on our profile and update it with those keywords? Again, what recruiters will search on, and Magella was highlighting those skills. Do we show them well enough on the platform itself? Because this is what recruiters will search on when they're doing those project searches. They're looking for new talent. They'll be able to pull from your profile. And also now recruiters can pull from any saved resumes or CVs that are saved to your profile on LinkedIn, the ability to search from any attached documents. Click on here. This is just where you can build it out in terms of those work experience. The other thing, and again, we've talked about how in demand the skills you all have are. I'm sure some of you are doing volunteer work as well, things like that. Showcase it, talk about what you've done, and put yourselves out there in the best possible light. It does get extra views. And again, people look at it, particularly again from that DE&I lens, or if people looking to get experience in local markets, is very, very valuable. And then the skills piece, again, think about those top skills that are in demand, and can we get endorsed by them? Can we ask our network to help us build out our profile? Use the PMI network, lean on each other to get further recommendations and skills. And then again, when we finish projects, are we asking people for recommendations? Are they able to highlight the work we've done, showcase what we're about, to give us some credibility and really validate those skills that the project management teams are looking for? And I know or believe Michael will touch on that as well from a client lens shortly. And then also don't forget to obviously update your location, where you've been educated, anything you've been published, or any of those accomplishments, because again, this is what recruiters will search on. When we've done all that, and I'll wrap up soon, now we're going to start to think about how we're going to engage with our network. And what that means, and what I want you to start thinking about, is who are the top companies you'd like to work for? Are you following them? Are you seeing their news updates? Are you seeing when they've won new projects and you're able to reach out to people there? There's some questions there on the left-hand side. Again, I won't read through them, but when you get the slides, are we building out our profile so that when we're seeing updates from these companies, we're able to act quickly? We're able to see who we might know at these companies and reach out to them. Similar from influencers, there may be project management experts. You're able to find them, filter their content, and again, see what they're sharing. There's been insights today around those skills that are needed, the change or impact AI might have, and you'll be able to start looking at them, but also bring them into your conversations. Are they giving you extra questions when you go to interviews that you can bring up and show your network and industry knowledge? And the other piece, and again, we've talked about AI, but start looking at those project management skills. There might be a project management in Sydney hashtag. There's also groups that you can probably look to join, and again, build out that network. If we think back to that vision of LinkedIn, is it creating economic opportunity for you? And is it a topic that people are engaging with that you can share your viewpoints on as well. And I'll quickly go through here. So what we want to do now is clean up our feed. I often get questions around content that's not relevant to me. Use the ellipsis, use the three dots, and ask LinkedIn to not show you that content. You'll start to clean up your feed. So what you're seeing is much more aligned to your goals and objectives when you're jumping on the platform. We're almost there, Michael. Just going to give a few tips here when we think about, okay, we've done the profile cleanup, we've followed some companies we want to work with, then what do I start pushing out? And again, this is where we can use our networks to help us amplify our reach, sharing what you're reading, talk about breaking news in the industry, maybe companies you're working at, what's happening behind the scenes, news or industry events, and then also any sort of milestones or company news and updates. And I believe, hopefully I've kept to as much time as I could, but Michael, I'm passing across to you.
Thank you. Guys, from my perspective, I'm just going to represent Avec quickly and just give you a view of what the client wants and expects from project managers. They are looking for business value, not just technology. The reality is clients no longer want IT for IT's sake. Technology itself isn't the goal, it's the enabler. What clients are asking from us time and time again is business value. Every initiative we take on has to prove that it can move the needle in a meaningful way. Let me expand on this. First, measurable outcomes. Clients don't want a shiny new system just because it's the latest on the market. They want outcomes they can see, track, and measure, whether it's a cost reduction, time savings, improvement in compliance, or faster delivery to market. The focus is on impact, not on technology itself. Second, alignment with business priorities. Every project today is expected to directly support growth, efficiency, or customer experience. If a project can't demonstrate how it ties into one of these three outcomes, it quickly loses traction. Growth. Projects that help the organization to scale, enter new markets, or generate revenue. Efficiency. Initiatives that streamline operations, automate manual work, and reduce waste. Customer experience. Solutions that make it easier, faster, and more delightful for the customer to engage with this business. Sorry, someone put animations in here. I'll get to it in a sec. Speed with stability. One of the biggest shifts we're seeing in project delivery today is the client demand for speed with stability. Clients operate in these markets that change faster than ever. Competition, technology, and customer expectations are moving in real time. They don't want projects that take years to show results. They want outcomes in weeks and months. Being first to value is just as important as being first to market. But here's the key. Speed on its own isn't enough. If we deliver fast, but the solution is unstable, or it collapses under real-world pressure, the cost of rework and the loss of trust far outweigh the benefits of speed. Stability is non-negotiable. Clients expect agile delivery. They expect transparency, adaptability, and collaboration. The question isn't whether we use agile, it's how well we live agile values. The same goes for automation and continuous improvement. Automated testing, deployment pipelines, monitoring, these aren't nice to have. Clients assume we're doing them to keep quality high while delivering at pace. Continuous improvement means we're not just delivering quickly, but we're also learning, evolving alongside the client. Ultimately, speed with stability comes down to trust. Our clients trust us to deliver outcomes rapidly, but never at the expense of quality. And organizations and project managers who can combine urgency with reliability, the ones who can move fast and still deliver stable, lasting results, are the ones that build true long-term partnerships. When we talk about clients, what clients are really looking for in today's project delivery environment, one word stands out: trust. And trust is built on transparency. Our clients expect visibility across the entire project lifecycle, not just to the end when we're reporting outcomes. They want to see progress, challenges, and decisions as they unfold. That means clear, consistent reporting, not just dashboards filled with numbers, but insights that can connect back to business goals. It means open communications, sharing the wins and as well as the setbacks. And it means proactive risk management, where we surface potential issues early and bring options to the table before risks turn into problems. When we do this well, something powerful happens. Clients feel true partners in delivery, not just recipients of updates. Confidence grows, alignment strengthens, and even when the projects face challenges, and they always do, the relationship holds firm because the foundation of trust is there. So transparency isn't just about visibility. It's about creating a delivery environment where clients believe we have nothing to hide, where we're working with them, not just for them. And in today's market, the level of trust is often the difference between a one-time engagement and a lasting partnership. Flexibility and adaptability. One of the biggest shifts we're seeing today is project delivery environment is the expectation of flexibility and adaptability. The reality is projects rarely go as planned. Market conditions shift, new technologies emerge, business priorities evolve, and sometimes even the customer changes their mind halfway through. In that environment, rigid delivery models simply don't survive. What clients value today are teams that can pivot quickly without losing momentum. They want project managers and delivery teams who don't see change as disruption, but as part of the journey. That means realignment of scope, resources, and timelines in a way that still delivers outcomes without endless delays or frustration. Adaptability is all about mindset. It's not just about adjusting schedules, but being proactive in how we anticipate change. Are we listening closer to the client? Are we monitoring the external environment? Are we ready to recommend adjustments before problem snowballs? When clients see their delivery partner can embrace change confidently, it builds trust. It reassures them that no matter what happens, shifting priorities, new regulations, or unexpected risks, the project is still in safe hands. In short, flexibility and adaptability are no longer nice to have traits, they're core expectations. The delivery team that thrive are the ones who can adjust course while keeping business value firmly in sight. The human element, really beyond AI. When we talk about project delivery, it's easy to focus on frameworks, methodologies, and tools. But what clients consistently tell us is that what really makes a difference is the human element. Beyond process, they want strong leadership. They look for the project managers who can inspire teams, align stakeholders, and keep momentum even when challenges arise. They value collaboration because no project succeeds in isolation. Clients expect us to foster trust, break down silos, and create an environment where diverse perspectives contribute to better outcomes. And just as importantly, they expect empathy. Technology and transformation can be disruptive. Project managers who stand out are those who can understand the business context, connect with people, and guide them through change with clarity and care. Ultimately, our clients aren't just looking for delivery, they're looking for leaders who can bridge the gap between technology and people, ensuring that progress is both effective and sustainable. In closing, as project managers that That puts us in a unique position. We're not just managing scope, time and cost. We're stewards of business value. The more we can demonstrate that every project ties directly to business growth, efficiency or customer experience, the more trust we build with our clients. To close, I'll leave you with this. In today's environment, success in project delivery is no longer measured by on time and on budget. It is measured by on purpose. Projects that are intentional, outcomes focused, and aligned to what really matters to our clients. Thank you.
That was such a wonderful presentation by all three, Talent International, LinkedIn, and Michael Avec Global. Thank you so much for your time. We did have a lot of different comments, mainly talking about how amazing the presentations and wonderful the tips were. So thank you. We do have a question from Tina online. And that was related to Magella, what you were saying about the contract rates. So the question was, were these rates inclusive of super?
Look, generally, they are a general guide. Probably would have noticed that there was a bit of a range there, but yes, typically would have included super.
Excellent. And her question was for contract rates or daily salary rates? I'm just reading.
Sorry, I didn't quite catch the T-shirt. It was, contract daily rates they were, yeah.
Yes, okay. Is that all good, Tina? Does that answer your question? Yes, great. Excellent. Well, thank you so much. We are getting, we are 3 minutes before the end. Do we have any questions that we can answer straight away in the next minute? So there is a question from Naveen. We all know the market is very competitive, and what could be the expectation that when it can revive?
Well,
that's probably for Steve or Patrick.
Yeah, I'll take that one. So look, I think a lot of this is driven by the Labor government this year. They're one of the largest employers, right? So, I think March or April next year, I think our focus is going to actually shift to the election statewide, New South Wales statewide, to 2027. It'll only be a year away in March, so they'll look to health, they'll look to education, they'll look to start employing contingent labour as well, to bolster some of the projects, because they've got to start spending money again. And in my view, on the right sort of projects. So yeah, I think that's going to be a key driver. The election in 2027 is going to actually start driving this in 2026. I think we are going to see an increase in unemployment though to about 4.3 by the end of this year, maybe 4.4. The banks are supporting this year. We've seen ANZ, 3,000 redundancies or something, or letting 3,000 people go. I think other banks will follow suit. I think that's going to drive it to 4.3, 4.4, and then I think that's going to come down towards the start of next year.
Excellent. Thank you. So thank you so much for being part of tonight's session. If tonight's topic resonated with you and you would like to stay connected and learn more or get involved, I encourage you to check out PMI Sydney or your local chapter. So whether you're looking to grow your network or build new skills or just be part of a great, thriving PM community, please join us. And you can also look at the list of events that we're organizing under pmisydney.org/calendar. If you would like to connect with me on LinkedIn, you've got the QR code. And also, if you would like to reach out for any information around the academic outreach or professional development for PMI Sydney Chapter, you've got my email, the academic outreach at pmisydney.org. And if you have other questions in relation to this presentation, you can ask them via this email address, asktherecruiter at pmisydney.org, and we will have a look at them and answer them. The presentation as well as the recording will be shared. There will be the newsletter that will go out by the end of the month called Critical Path, and we'll have a bit of a spotlight on that, and you will have access to this information. Once again, thank you for showing up tonight and for asking great questions and investing in your growth. We look forward to seeing you at our next event, hopefully. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
PDF code will be shared with you shortly. I will have to send it by email, but you will get there. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.